All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bridge the Gap Project. Today, we're back with another entry into our series, Minute Motivation. And today's talking point is going to be how to break the cycle of self sabotage that a lot of us who struggle with our work ethic go through. And I'm going to speak from experience here. But before I get into that, I just want to thank you guys for bearing with me. I've had a couple busy work weeks and I'm getting back into it. I have some really awesome and amazing guests coming up within the next couple weeks and months. So just stay tuned. Thank you guys so much, and let's get into it. So I think for most people who struggle with their work ethic or who have had hardships with being a hard worker, go through a cycle that looks like this. For whatever reason, at some point, we chose comfort over hard work. Whatever reason that is, doesn't really matter. But what happens is years go by, months go by, and we get addicted to a cycle of comfort, and we never really address why we're not working hard or what actions we might need to take in order to change that. So when we do try to change it, we go through this process that looks like, okay, I haven't been working hard. I want to change that. Boom, that's the first step. I get motivated and inspired. I work extremely hard. I try to go from 0 to 100 overnight. So I might work hard for a week. I might work hard for 2 weeks or a month or a couple of days, whatever that looks like. But I work all out. And then that motivation and inspiration goes away and I'm left right back where I was. And this cycle, if it goes unchecked, it can go on for years. And I think a lot of us don't have the personal insight. It's something that, I've developed within like the past 5-6 years. The personal insight to step outside of ourselves and try to view ourselves from a non-biased outside opinion. And I'm someone who, one of my biggest struggles is I don't really tell people what I'm going through. Like my personal issues, I don't tell nobody shit. It's one of the things I need to work on most, but I know that about myself. So what can I do if I'm not at the point where I can overcome that? What do? Well, then I got to figure it out internally, And if you're someone who doesn't talk to other people, then you might need to readjust and reset and realign with what you're trying to do. When we go through this process of work extremely hard, get unmotivated, start at the beginning, you don't really go anywhere. You stagnate and you reinforce the narrative within yourself that, damn, I've been through this so many times and it never really clicked for me. Do I continue to do this? Do I continue to go through this process, or do I try to change something? And for anybody who has any type of brain, you would understand that you got to try something new. Like I forget the Einstein quote, but it's something like people who repeatedly do something with no change in results, that's insanity. And that is true to an extent. So what do we need to do to break that habit? First and foremost, as I've said in other videos, you need to commit to a baseline of action that works for you. So I understand for most people, if you are so accustomed to your habits and you've never worked hard in your life, that working hard is scary. But you don't have to give up everything immediately. If you're not working hard at all, you can set the baseline that, okay, I have to work 8 hours a day. Literally, for most people, you work 8 hours a day. I personally go to the gym. Now, with the rest of my free time, what am I going to do with it? If I have 4 hours left in my day, I'm going to dedicate every single week 1 hour to personal growth, to reading a book, to pursuing my goals, whatever that is. Set a baseline that you can achieve. Not something that's unfucking realistic, like I'm going to wake up every day at 3 a.m., read an hour, do this. Nobody does that. Nobody who's ever really became a hard worker did it overnight. It's a process of small incremental changes that will ultimately make the difference, not jumping from A to Z. And I think a lot of us in America, in American culture especially, are so addicted to this idea of instant gratification and that it should be easy for me, or that when I try it, it should just fucking click like that. Like, no, we are human and all of this shit is very hard. This is a lifelong journey. But what can you really do to make it happen? You can set small steps that no matter what, you will commit to. Obviously, there are circumstances where that sometimes may not, I could get sick, something serious could happen. But for the most part, if I set up a small baseline that moves me from, if you look at personal growth as this humongous thing, if you set that first small step and you make an incremental change, you can do that. Most people can make small steps. Most people cannot, however, jump from 0 to 100 And even if they do, it's for a short period of time and then they burn out and then they repeat the cycle again and they continue this cycle of self-hate and self-sabotage where they reinforce the narrative that, damn, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I really do struggle with this and I need help. All that stuff might be true, but if you set up little achievable goals, when you do achieve them, you get this sense of internal validation. You get inspiration and motivation from yourself, and that's infinitely more powerful than watching a video and feeling inspired. And I think if you love yourself and you're someone who really struggles with expressing your emotions like I do, you need to get it together yourself. And the only way to do that is to set up something that is real, something that you will achieve, and start to shift within yourself. Like literally, when you tell yourself something and then you do it, your brain rewires, and this is something that happens, and you continue this process. You can do this, but you have to be willing to give up a little bit of what you have now, give up a little comfort, make things a little more uncomfortable for yourself. Step outside of that comfort zone just a little bit and start to expand that. Nobody's saying to fucking go be the greatest person on earth tomorrow. And I think a lot of us do that. A lot of us try because we have such high expectations of ourselves. I personally do. Some people struggle with their self-esteem. I have a very high opinion of myself. And not in an egotistical way, but like I believe I can do most things. And then when you don't do them, it's like, fuck. So change that narrative within yourself. You can. Set up that little goal, that 1% better every day type of idea, and make it happen no matter what is in your way, and start to reinforce that narrative. Change the way that you see yourself. Change that self-talk. Change how you interact with yourself. Be more real. Be more open. A lot of people sometimes feel that when you're critical of yourself, there's a lack of self-love, and I totally disagree. I believe that when you are the person that's capable of examining yourself as an impartial bystander, and you can tell yourself like, yo, Matt, I want to be this guy. The actions you've been doing in that way, they don't really match up. So you're going to have to switch it. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be a challenge, but we're going to commit to this no matter what. Even if it's something very small, you start that process and you build and you build and you build. And then next month and then next year and 10 years from now, you're more of the person that you'd want to be than if you were to just try to go all in all the fucking time. It doesn't work for most people. So don't forget that you have the power. Don't give away power from yourself and say, oh, this is just the way I am. Oh, I struggle with this. Yeah, we all struggle. Life is hard. But don't sell yourself short, man. Anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. Peace.